I'll just go back from Ravi Abuvala's Mastermind event in Miami last weekend. I traveled all the way from Spain just to go to that event. And in this video, what I want to do is literally just tell you everything I learned from that event, the specific action items I'm personally implementing to reach $100,000 a month in my coaching business, tell you if it was worth it, but also my hope is to give you a ton of value as well so you can implement a bunch of this stuff and just grow your business. If you don't know who Ravi is, he's the founder and owner of Scaling with Systems, and he's made over $25 million in revenue. And I've given my share of money to that pool. I mean, basically just about 20K. But again, last weekend I flew from Spain all the way to Miami just to spend 2 days with him, shake his hand, network with 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs. And honestly, the main thing that I wanted was to put myself in a room where I was literally the smallest fish in the pond. But in his mastermind, there are 4 main components at the event, all of which I love, mostly because the event wasn't like most of the events I've seen where the owners of the company just set up this like presentations over a specific topic and they bring like speakers and it's all like, we're only going to speak about this thing and then this thing and this thing. I love the fact that he came prepared, but it was mostly an open Q&A where he spoke about 4 things, which was personal branding, content, ads, and team. So personal branding, this is something that I'm highly focusing on right now. So I was paying a lot of attention and I don't have a lot of notes, but there's a lot of golden nuggets that I think you're going to take away from this. So for right now, Ravi's mostly focused on branding. So he's separating his company and his name. So one of the main things that he spoke about was that for many years, he pushed his, he is the systems guy. He's the owner of Scaling with Systems. His personal brand was very much merged with his company brand. And he spoke about that and how he's aiming to separate his personal brand and build a strong personal brand that carries out the name of his company and carries out his company, which is pretty cool to see. Right now, he's pushing something called self-sustaining funnel, which is pretty cool. And it's basically something that I teach about and I speak a lot in my content, which is just good intentional content. The main reason he gives for this, like his sales argument for this, is because before you could get away with just a strong offer because there were very limited mediums through which you could get the information you needed. But now we're seeing every offer, every single industry that there is. And he gave a really cool example with rocket ships. It's like even an offer on rocket ships has competitors. So we see we see Elon Musk doing SpaceX, and now there's also Virgin, and then they're putting people in space. And I think Jeff Bezos is also doing the same thing, which is like to say that your offer is nothing special. There's millions of offers on the same thing that you're trying to give. And one of the things that's going to really pull the weight for you and to get more clients is building enough brand equity and building a good personal brand. Because again, now there's books, audiobooks, courses, masterclasses, mentors, everything you can think of that can deliver the information that you have for the people who want to get this specific, value that you're giving. Strong offers are a bare minimum. And I see this a lot in last year in the industry. Everyone was speaking about you have to have a great offer. And then again, Alex Hormozi wrote an entire book about offers. And that was the thing. It's just you need a strong offer. But that, in my opinion, that got a very short life. But because now you have to have an offer and that's the bare minimum. Now it's like you have to have a really good offer. You have to be somebody worth paying money to, not just because of the knowledge that you have, but because of how you carry yourself as a person. The thing with this is, and something that I'm actually kind of happy about, is that this is going to weed a lot of people out, because unfortunately there's a lot of bad rap in this industry where people are just in it for a quick buck. Those who are in it for a quick buck are going to lose. And I just see this long term. It's a long-term play. You have to invest in your personal branding, and that's going to carry out how you do business. Here, let me just zoom in real quick. I think it's way too zoomed out. There we go. Much better. So obviously a good brand generates trust, which facilitates the sale. We're seeing this shift more and more where personal brand is it's better than company brand. That's the shift he's also doing. He's doing new YouTube account as well, whether he's doing more vlogging, more of that stuff, rather than just business based. This is also a move we're seeing because a lot of people are into the private equity move of like, I want to sell my info product business. But he explained that this is a very hard thing to do and to sell. And it's like not to get into like energy and like what are your values as a human, but what do you want to get out of building this business? A lot of people get into info business or into business because they have this like sexy image of I want to sell my business. But he explained, and I don't want to get too much into it, he explained that it's a very hard move to sell an info company where there's literally not a lot of things that you can sell because it's you running the company, you're the face of the company. Now, when it comes to ads, another huge focus for me, I ran, $30 million in ads, and that's something that I'm very good at, but unfortunately that's not something that I'm doing currently for my own business. I'll get into takeaways after this. I do help my clients with ads as well, but most of the things here is that a huge perspective shift was that paid ads versus organic. Like most people think in binary, meaning basically the strongest in the space, the strongest businesses in the space do both and do both very well. It's stupid to think that just because you do one, you deserve a badge of honor. I see it all the time how some coaches think that they're special because they have never run ads, for example, and it's stupid. And they build their entire brand and their entire personality personality and just saying that, oh, I've never run ads and I built my entire company organic. But there's the other side of the coin too. There's businesses that just run on ads and they're threading on a very thin line of, if their Facebook account gets banned, they're destroyed, their business is destroyed. And I've seen this happen. Unfortunate but true. Basically just saying, do both pretty good, do both really well, and that's it. Each serves its purpose. And I've actually met with people who build their entire sales funnel by saying they grew their business organically and now they're hiring ad agencies to run their shit, because they've realized that if you do both really well, you're gonna be a more successful company. By the way, you're gonna see this across this document where it says redacted, where I don't want to share the stuff that he's doing because I don't want to share his secrets. Some of the stuff is redacted. However, I do have this on my own personal notes that I'm going to implement for my company and also for my clients as well. But again, all to say that if once you're running good organic content, we also spoke about ManyChat, go high level, automations, all those things. Make sure you're owning your audience. Make sure you're running some sort. You don't have to have a 40 email indoctrination sequence, but have something that there's a transaction put in place where people give you their email for something in return. So lead magnets, webinars, masterclass, etc. You need to have some email marketing, because you want to have emails, because that, again, you don't own your audience if it's all on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Definitely combine email marketing with organic and paid advertising. Okay, the way they ran ads from IG was through post IDs rather than boosting, and this was something they're very adamant about, like don't boost post, like use them as post IDs, which I thought was interesting. I've done this before, but most of the times, just being super transparent here with my clients, most of the times we do boosting through IG desktop and they see incredible results, which, I mean, don't fix what's not broken kind of thing. However, this is something that I'm going to start trying for myself and test for myself, kind of be like the guinea pig for my clients. Then if it works, then I'm going to enforce that for my clients as well and have them do post IDs instead. It's a little bit more complicated. There's some more nuance into it, but I think there's a lot of value into understanding that there's more data you can see in the ads manager as well. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. We spent a long time talking about creative testing, but the biggest takeaway here is that most people, and I've seen this from the back then when I was in the agency world, most people do creative testing based on reactivity rather than proactivity. What this means, and he explained it in such a way, beautifully explained, so I'm going to paraphrase this, but basically the way most people run ads, but parenthesis here, you don't have to run an ads agency to run ads. Ads are easy to very extremely easy to do, like very easy. For a company that I was helping run their entire paid media, which I took them to $1 million a month, I was doing all the paid media by myself. So you can run ads, trust me. Don't hire out an agency, please don't. Okay, back into this creative testing. The way he was explaining was a lot of people start running ads, and when they see their creative failing and their numbers kind of turning to shit, then they start thinking we need to do something about it. So it's like this roller coaster kind of thing. The way he explained it was pretty cool. It was, rather than having this roller coaster move, is as soon as you start running ads and as soon as you start seeing some numbers, start getting more creative so that you're ready, so that when you start seeing things kind of like plateau, run new ads and new ad creatives proactively. Like, have that become a part of your process of running paid media. Always have some sort of creative already ready to run, ready to test all the time. Now he did share his ad structure out of respect. I'm not gonna explain what that is, or not gonna say what that is, because it's pretty good and very simple, and I'm going to implement it. Mostly super high, like 30,000 foot view, one testing campaign, one scaling campaign. You can take that to the moon. I've done it before with other clients where it was extremely simple. Test a lot, make sure you're understanding what you're testing, don't test too much. Always have creatives on hand that you can test, create different angles, and all about, like, literally guys, like when it comes to ads, all you have to do is understand testing, understand numbers, understand all that. And I know I'm like kind of rushing through this. I could just make an entire video. And if you want me to create an entire video on like ad structures, ad campaigns, ad architecture, let me know, I'll do it. I already have a bunch of that stuff already recorded for my clients, so I can do that if you want. For content, we spent 99% of the time speaking about YouTube, and this is something that it's 100% my focus. As you can tell, I'm doing this YouTube, giving you a lot of sauce, so pay attention. Must be consistent, and you have to constantly provide value, good value, so you can nurture the people who are either searching for the terms that you're speaking about, or maybe you're doing short form, top of funnel stuff on Instagram, and then people want to learn more about what you do, they go to YouTube. You know the deal. Like, if you're watching this video, hopefully I think that you're already sophisticated enough to understand how it works. The thing with YouTube is it's hard to get traction. It's a flywheel effect. I'm still, as you can tell, this channel is pretty new. Be consistent, provide good value. And one of the things that I had a conversation today with old friend from college, and he crushes us with content. The thing, you have to find what works for your specific industry and niche. For my industry, in where I'm basically a consultant for coaches who want to get to 100K and above. Video quality matters. Like, you don't care too much about the FX, whatever it is. You don't want like flashy things. You just want straight up value, like what I'm doing now. Find what works with you, and don't just look at things that are working in your specific industry. Find inspiration from other industries to see what you can implement from other industry into your channel, and test and find what works for you. And especially one thing that's super important, don't try to be somebody you're not. It's huge. And if you want to become an authority in your market, you have to have YouTube. That's it. Because if you speak about something for long enough, chances are you know what you're speaking about. Mind you, a lot of people can yap, and I can speak a lot, but I know what I'm speaking about. I'm trying to go faster here. Okay. 3 types of content you want to have is value content, majority. So this is a great example of value content. 80% or 90% is going to be value. Relatability. So speak about your beliefs, your hobbies, your truths. So things that you're going to see a lot of in this channel is going to be, I'm pretty open about my faith. So down there, here, that's my Bible. So I speak a lot about my faith and how that's shaped me and it's continued to shape me. My travel. So like, why did I leave a third world country to live where I am right now? Why did I do all this stuff? So like, kind of like my beliefs, and all those things just combined, because it builds into who you are as a person. And nowadays people buy into coaches, not just into the coaching that they're getting, which is important. And obviously because you want to have some personality. So relatability, I think that's huge, and I think that does serve the purpose. But again, value is going to be 80 to 90%. Proof, obviously, like show me case studies. In my channel I have a couple case studies, and there's one that I just posted too, and I'm going to record another one as well. Proof, case studies, important. If you're speaking about things like this, relatability, make sure you keep it to your ICP, because you don't want to confuse what you're speaking about. Because I've made that mistake before. I had an old channel, didn't grow big or anything. Like I think like 1,600 followers or subscribers. The thing is, it grew to that account. It grew to that amount solely to the fact that I was sharing fitness related content on shorts. It went viral and it caught the wrong audience, and nobody sees my content anymore on that channel. This channel, completely new, and I'm just doing business stuff. That's it. So keep it connected to your ICP. We spoke about content hierarchy and how you want to develop your videos. The first and most important thing is you want to do the idea first. So my idea on this video was specifically what I learned from Ravi Abuvala's Mastermind in Miami. So saving you 5K plus travel plus hotels, and the packaging. So I already had the thumbnail before I'm even recording this. Plus I'm also knowing that the packaging is going to be like a document kind of thing. Well, that's the style. Never mind. Packaging is the thumbnail and the title, which I already had, and then the style is how you're going to record it. Either POV, vlogging, informational, Miro boards, which are everyone's doing Miro boards now. And when you start thinking about ideas, make sure you understand like what's going to be the topic that's going to attract your ideal client. Again, always keep it about your ideal client. Packaging, this is a science. It truly is. I haven't really I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring out the packaging of stuff like title and thumbnail. It's a huge science. There are people out there who are monsters at this and they're really good. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to become really good at this, and I'm learning a lot, and I've invested a lot of money into understanding this stuff. But it is a science, and it's something that it's super important when it comes to YouTube. Get a good thumbnail editor, understand how to write good thumbnails, and understand how to get really good at the hook, which I'm still working on. Content, man, important. We're in a era where trust is at its lowest, and the way you gain trust is through good content, good value, and having a personality out there when everyone's trying to copy each other. Now, the last part was team building, and to be 100% honest, this was not my focus, because I'm not looking right now to build out a huge team. I'm trying to have a very lean company, which I do have right now. I love it. I want to keep it that way for now. We'll grow when we need to grow. Right now, we don't have to grow, which is pretty good at this moment. If you want this document, just tell me that you want this document. I'll send it over, and just message me on IG. I can send you this so you can have it. Huge takeaway here is that once you're building a brand, building a brand is not so much for client acquisition, but for talent acquisition as well. Huge is important, because you want to hire people who want to work with you, because you're building a cool brand, a cool business. You obviously can know, they know you can give people results, but it's something that you're building something cool that people want to join. He was explaining how a lot of the people who work for him now were people who were clients before. One of the caveat here was that a lot of founders keep people for way too long just because they're a great culture fit. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing the person a disservice as well. So don't do that. He said that's a huge mistake. When it comes to team, make sure you are doing consistent team meetings. I'll tell you the framework that he gave us for this was pretty cool. But for team meetings, everyone has to know what to expect and what to speak on. Everyone must bring their KPIs. Everyone have to know that they can ask for help. Everyone should know that there's a specific cadence for the meeting, so it's not like you're just running around just speaking about things, how's your weekend, blah blah blah. There's a time and space for that. For specific team meetings, you have to be organized. Everyone should have a dashboard in your team, and you should constantly do Q&A, which is just quality assurance, to make sure everyone's doing what they need to be doing. One cool thing he said is he empowers the people that work for him to become the CEO of their own position, which is pretty cool. Like, own what you have to do. Like, here's what you have to do, own what you have to do, do, show up, do the thing, ask for help if you need to. But obviously always have some Q&A and make sure you're tracking everything. Everyone should have a dashboard. Whenever you're giving feedback, with compassion, clarity, and focus on the person's growth and development. For meeting structure, he said something like this, like personal and professional wins, reviewing KPIs, workload, progress check, current challenges, feedbacks for whatever it is they're using, tools that they're using. Some people use Asana, Monday, etc. So like feedback for that, everything's going smoothly. If they need support, if there are any issues that need to be addressed, and finally something they're proud of. Pretty simple. If you have somebody in your team, a GWC framework, it's either negative, neutral, or positive. So they either get it, want it, or the capacity of which they can handle the bandwidth of the work they're doing. Do they understand the role and the expectations? Are they hungry and self-motivated? Do they have enough bandwidth to execute the work that they need to be doing? Then there's a litmus test, which would be, would I hire this person again with everything I know? Yes or no? If you're unsure, you're sure. I love this. I really loved it. If you're unsure about somebody, you're sure. Pretty simple. Now, to close this off, couple things you've heard me say a bunch of times. Knowledge is it's useless without the execution. You need to execute on this stuff. Even if it's just one thing, execute it. I need you to start implementing the stuff that I'm telling you. Takeaways for me as I'm building a $100,000 a month business are the following. Super simple. I'm gonna run ads, easy, to a VSL. Currently, their team is checking my VSL script to make sure I can run it up. I believe I'm very good, I'm very strong, I'm very solid at writing VSLs. I've done that before and they've crushed. But again, when it comes to you applying your own advice, it's always hard and difficult for some reason. I don't get it. And it's always good to always, obviously invest in mentorship so that they can help me with that. Running ads for my VSL, setting up the landing page, the email flows, and test all that out. Obviously, that's something I'm going to start doing. Be consistent on YouTube content and only on my new channel, which is this one, which you're watching right now. My main bottleneck right now, like I said, it's going to be the packaging. So I believe that's just thumbnails, hooks, and titles because our CTR is super low. Now, I spoke about this. It's my $1 million a year problem, which is going to be my Instagram. I believe the content on my Instagram is super dope. I love it. I think it's actually very good, but we're not getting the results that we're looking for. And once I solve that problem, that's the thing that's going to give me $1 million easily. We did the math. If we fix that, we're good. Then the other thing that I'm doing is a ascension model for low ticket to high ticket, so people can get a sense and a taste of what it is to get my entire feedback as I go through the entire funnel in something where they don't have to invest the full amount, but something that I can still help them, guide them, point them in the right direction, but a little bit more of just low ticket. So I'm building that as well. And finally, I want to close this off for me, but also for you, is a question that I keep asking myself. It's two questions actually. One is, what would the highest version of myself be doing right now? The second question is, what am I not doing that I should be? And that's one question that I asked Ravi. I told him, dude, if you can keep your testimonials, you can keep your knowledge, but you lose everything else and you're put in a different planet, what would you do to acquire more clients or acquire clients starting from zero? He said this stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's my focus. Lastly, this is a framework from Tony Robbins. It's CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. That's something I really want to ingrain in your head and in your mind to hopefully always be looking to improve in an industry that unfortunately gets a lot of bad rap because there's a lot of people out there that are just looking for a quick buck to get from you. The only way that you can keep climbing up, the only way that you can actually have a positive impact in this world, if you're a good person, if you're a good coach, is constantly improving in your craft, learning, investing in mentorship, investing in people who are better than you, investing in people who can give you a different angle for things and problems. Invest in yourself. You're going to be the best project that you work on, and that's something I don't take lightly. I'm always reading, I'm always implementing, I'm always investing my money into mentors because I see myself as the best coach out there in the world, and I don't take that lightly. The best consultant, the best person people look up to when it comes to health, finances, wealth, coaching, etc. And in order to get there, I need to be always improving. But if you're an online coach and you've been wanting to improve your business, whether you have an attention bottleneck, a monetization or sales bottleneck, or maybe an operations bottleneck, I built an entire video going in depth about most of this stuff as well that you can probably take a lot of notes in and implement as well. So just tap the video that's on the screen right now. That should take you to a video where I go in depth on a bunch of this stuff. If you want this document, just DM me on Instagram and I'll send it to you. For now, I'll see you on the next one.